And as Democrats rally around Kamala Harris's presidential bid, some Republicans are speaking out against Donald Trump and voicing their support instead for the vice president. That includes our next guest, who yesterday wrote an op-ed with this title: "Why, as a Republican mayor, I support Kamala Harris over Trump." Republican John Giles, the mayor of Mesa, Arizona, the state's third largest city, wrote this: "I believe my party has a moral and ethical responsibility to restore faith in our democratic institutions. In the spirit of the late Senator John McCain's motto, Country First, I call on other Arizona Republicans to join me in choosing country over party this election and to vote against Donald Trump." And Mayor Giles joins us now. Mayor, good morning. Thank you for being with us. Let's start with the reaction you are getting from your fellow Republicans. Have any taken you up on your offer? Also, have others been sharply critical?
Yes and yes. I mean, I think the negative response was something that I expected, and it certainly has been there. But frankly, I've been a little taken back by the quantity and the quality of the positive response that I've gotten from Republicans, from former Republicans, from independents. So I think sometimes we, the extremes in my party get such a large amount of attention. It's easy to forget that I think still the majority of Americans and the majority of Republicans are in the center on the political spectrum, and are very open to looking for alternatives that are not extreme.
So, Mr. Mayor, tell us why, in your estimation, Donald Trump should not be returned to the White House.
Well, I'm obviously reluctant to as a Republican, I love to endorse Republicans, and so this was a pretty thoughtful process. Also being a mayor, my preference is to avoid getting involved in public partisan fighting whenever possible. But there are certain times that the question that is presented is a moral one and an ethical one and a question of character, and silence is not an option. So that's my argument to my fellow Republicans, that this is not a year that we can follow tradition or follow misplaced loyalty and vote for a Republican at the top of the ticket. Donald Trump has demonstrated that he lacks the character, lacks the commitment to the rule of law and to the United States Constitution to qualify as an elected official, let alone as President of the United States.
Mayor, thanks for coming on so bright and early this morning. Everyone's watching Arizona to see which way it breaks, because, of course, it's a must-win for both parties in terms of both the Senate race, but then also, of course, the presidential. What's your sense about sort of where the state is going, especially given the abortion referendum that will also be on the ballot this fall? What's your just gut from what you're hearing from people in your community about where Arizona is headed?
I think Arizona is very much in play. I think you're likely to see Ruben Gallego, a Democrat, win the Senate seat. I think there are other Democrats that are going to do well here. As you mentioned, we do have a state constitutional amendment on abortion that's on the ballot that I think is going to draw, that had twice as many signatures as was required, and it is going to pass comfortably in our state. But in the presidential race, Trump has been ahead by 5 or 10 points. So I think the change on the ticket, having the vice president to assume the top of the ticket, I think that's brought a lot of energy nationwide, but also in Arizona. So I think that gap is closing every day. And Arizona is going to be very competitive, but it's going to be very close when it comes to the presidential race in Arizona.
Mayor Elise Jordan here. As you wrote in your op-ed, Arizona has long embraced a John McCain style of conservatism and maverick, willing to test and go outside the typical norms. How much of a drag do you think that Kari Lake, the prospective Republican nominee, the likely nominee, is on the presidential ticket for Republicans in Arizona?
Well, I don't expect her to be successful. I mean, you even see that the Trump campaign seems to be trying to distance themselves from her a little bit. She's so over the top that she turns people off in Arizona. So I expect that Ruben Gallego is going to win comfortably in that race. Although we'll see today if Kari Lake even wins her primary. I think a lot of people on the Republican side have seen that she's not going to do well in the general election here. And there is an alternative to Kari Lake on the Republican primary ballot today, a rural sheriff. So we'll see how that turns out.
All right. Republican Mayor of Mesa, Arizona, John Giles, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.